Hi, this is Ron Darmanin from New England Shutterbugs in Leominster. Today, we will show you how to master layer stackups in Adobe Photoshop, including focus stackups, composite stackups, and how to add a shadow layer to subdue distracting light values from your main subject. By understanding how to effectively load, align, and blend these layers, you can unlock new levels of photographic enhancement, transforming ordinary images into extraordinary visual narratives. This video will guide you through the process, demonstrating how to leverage Photoshop's robust layer capabilities to elevate your photographic work. In macro or landscape photography, it's challenging to achieve a depth of field where everything from foreground to background is sharp focus. Focus stacking involves taking multiple photos of the same scene, each focused on a different plane. These images are stacked in Photoshop, and the sharpest areas from each image are blended together to create a single image with extended depth of field. In the next segment of this video, we will take a JPEG file and include it into a TIFF file. Never edit your original JPEG file. Notice the child has a little dribble. We will eliminate it with the healing brush. The next thing we will do is cut out the eye with Polygon Cutout tool. We will then do a Ctrl-C to copy the eye and a Ctrl-V to paste the eye. We will then move the eye over the other eye and do an Edit Transform Flip Horizontal that will make the eye look like it is cross-eyed. Notice that the highlight is in the wrong spot on the eye, so we will use the clone stamp to remove it. And then we will use the clone stamp again to put the other highlight back by pressing Alt over the left eye highlight and then putting the highlight back into the right eye. Next thing we will do is merge the eye layer and the main layer. Control-select each layer to select the layers and then merge the selected layers. Rename the merged layer to Main Image. At this point, the main image needs to be color corrected and density corrected. We now bring in the PDI test image to compare and make final adjustments. Zoom in on the closest baby image to the main image and see that it is dark and slightly yellow. We do a Control or Command M to bring up the Curves menu and adjust the density. We then press Command or Control B to bring up the Color Balance menu and add a little blue until we're satisfied the color matches. We then go into the Select Subject routine, and after you are satisfied with the selection, go into Select, Modify, Contract 2 pixels. Go to Select, Modify Feather 2 pixels. This will give you a nice, smooth edge with no ragged edges. Then do a Select Inverse to select the area you will cut and do a Control or Command X. I had just gone to Deerfield, Mass, to the butterfly place, and had lots of butterflies to cut out and put on the nose of the baby. We will make a layer under the butterfly to put the shadow of the butterfly using the paintbrush. Anytime you cut things out, it's a good idea to save them in a TIFF file. TIFF files hold more data than PSD files, and you can see what you saved by looking at it in a viewer. If you are going to use other Adobe products, you have to go to a PSD file. I will then go to my TIFF file and put a hat that I had saved on the baby. Notice there is a bit of the baby's head that I will simply remove. We will add a background that I photographed in a museum in New Jersey. I will then add a variety of flowers to enhance the picture. I photographed a net against a green background and removed all green in the picture so the net would be clear and look very natural. We will now add a shadow layer to the picture. This will avoid any distracting objects from your main subject. The first thing we do is add a layer to the very top of our layer stack up. We make sure that our color is black and we rename the layer to shadow layer. We then go to the paint bucket and splash black into the shadow layer. We then go to opacity and change it to 50% to start. Go to your eraser tool and change it to 100% and make the aperture wide enough to cover about 1/3 of the image. The hardness should be 0. Then, start erasing the shadow layer around your main subject and adjust the opacity to your liking. In review, you know how to cut out objects with the generative fill and the quick selection tool. You know how to get a nice soft edge on what you cut out. You know how to focus stack up, composite stack up, and how to add a shadow layer. In the next segment, I will show you how to turn ordinary pictures into extraordinary visual narratives. This is a picture I took at a raptor sanctuary in Vermont. The falcon was landing on the handler's arm, and I immediately saw a picture coming to mind. I photographed a chukar at Leominster Sportsman's Club. I cut out the falcon and then the chukar and added background and foreground. The assignment was fog, so I added fog and then I added a shadow layer to direct your eye to the main subject. I took this picture with my phone and thought I could do something with the expression he had on his face. I also had a tree I had photographed on Cape Cod. I decided to use the displacement tools in Photoshop and etch his face into the tree. I added some storm clouds and a shadow layer. The tree looked a little lonely, so I decided to add a statue of a woman to make the picture more interesting. I took these photographs in order to create an image featuring a hand with a mouth yelling to another hand with an ear to depict the everyday life of a married couple in a surrealistic way. I cut out the ear and then the finger and pasted the finger onto the ear. I then blended the ear and finger onto the hand using the eraser and clone brush. The same thing was done to the hand with the mouth. The hand with the ear was mirrored and added it to the picture. I drew an outline of a distraught man and put it on a blue background. Text in a shadow layer was added to finish the picture. This photograph is characterized by its exploration of the subconscious mind and dreams to create a striking and bizarre image. I photographed some cardinals using the Canon remote app on my phone. I also photographed flowers with glycerine drops to emulate raindrops using a macro lens. I cut out the cardinals and the flower petal with the shimmering glycerin drop and pasted them into a TIFF file. I added a background and some flowers. I copied and pasted a picture of the cardinal heads into the glycerin drop. I envisioned a vibrant morning, sunlight just beginning to kiss the petals of a newly bloomed petal. As the birds peer curiously at the glistening drop, their reflections appear within its glassy surface. Get ready for an adrenaline-pumping adventure. Imagine soaring through the air on a zip line, wind whipping through your hair, with breathtaking scenery blurring beneath you. My brother-in-law Chuck convinced me to go on a zip line near Lake Winnipesaukee. I had a GoPro camera mounted on my helmet and took over 100 pictures. I picked the best ones and positioned my brother-in-law between my two hands. I then added a shadow layer to direct your eyes to the main subject. I also added a very subtle rainbow so people would think that they discovered it. I wanted to recreate my grandson's last goal. I went to his house and snapped an array of pictures and chose this one. I moved it to a TIFF file and cut out the image. I added a background, then a ball, and then a net. When he scored the goal, he shifted the ball to his dominant left foot. With a powerful, unhesitating kick, he struck the ball with the inside of his foot, sending it rocketing into the bottom right corner of the net. The recreation was complete. My niece's boyfriend is a bodybuilder and wanted a picture. I dropped out the background and added the background of a bar. I thought it would be fun to add one of our members to the picture. I always knew Lee had hidden depths, but I never realized those depths included a six-pack you could grate cheese on. Forget Hollywood's A-list and their chiseled jaws. This year, the coveted title of People's Sexiest Man Alive has gone to our very own friend, Lee. This was the lowest scoring picture of the year, but it was so much fun to make. This Photoshop composition features a dynamic scene of a man firing a target pistol. Many separate images were taken, including the bullet, the shell casing, a focus on the shooter's face, and a focus on the shooter's hand. To convey motion and impact, a layer dedicated to the bullet with a radial blur shows it exiting the barrel. A gun smoke layer, utilizing soft brushes, would emanate from the ejector port, depicting the immediate aftermath of the shot. A separate layer for the ejected shell casing is positioned mid-air with a slight rotation to indicate its expulsion. A subtle shell smoke layer with a small wisp of smoke is added around the ejected casing to further illustrate the heat and force of the discharge. Finally, a shadow layer was added to unify the entire composition, creating a powerful and visually engaging image. Imagine a photograph initially featuring two hands gently holding rosary beads, with the beads gracefully hanging downwards. The first step in this artistic transformation involves carefully cutting out the hands and rosary beads from their original background. A solid black background is introduced, which serves to dramatically contrast with the subject, making it stand out. To further guide the viewer's eye to the main subject, a subtle shadow layer is then applied above the hands and beads. This shadow draws your eye to the main subject. Finally, for enhanced visual separation, a soft glow is added around the perimeter of the hands and rosary beads. This glow not only separates the subject from the dark background, but also draws attention to its intricate details, creating a powerful and focused visual story. Transforming a vibrant color photograph into a compelling black and white image can dramatically alter its mood and emphasize elements like texture, form, and light that might be overlooked in color. In Photoshop, click Image, Adjustments, and Black and White. Then click OK. You will now have a beautiful black and white rendition of your color image. This process allows photographers to create timeless and artistic renditions of their original work. The air in the dimly lit backroom was thick with the scent of stale cigars and nervous anticipation. In front of the table, Ron, with a glint in his eye that spoke of practiced deception, subtly adjusted his cuff, a telltale bulge hinting at an ace he had cleverly palmed and tucked up his sleeve. His opponent, Lee, a man whose luck was as consistently bad as his poker face, a bewildered expression betraying the fact that he was holding far too many cards. A clear indication of a desperate, clumsy attempt at cheating. The silence amplified the tension as both men contemplated their next move in this high-stakes game of deception and misfortune. This is the picture that we started with. It was photographed here in the VFW hall. I cut it out and put it into a TIFF file. I added a black background to give the picture definition. A hat was added from a TIFF file. A glow was given to the background to add dimension to the picture. I photographed my hands with an ace up my sleeve to give me four-of-a-kind aces. I then cut them out and pasted them into my picture. I added a shadow layer to direct your eye to the main part of the picture to finish it off. The soft glow of the workbench lamp illuminated the fly Mark Lichtenstein is meticulously tying. A magnifying glass, cleverly clipped to the brim of his well-worn fishing hat, allowed him to scrutinize detail of his work, ensuring each knot was perfect and every fiber precisely placed. He wasn't just tying flies, he was crafting miniature works of art, each one a promise of a successful catch, a connection to the serene waters he loves. When creating a composite image for fly tying, especially one that involves focus stacking, the process often begins with capturing numerous individual photographs. These photographs are meticulously taken to ensure that different parts of the fly, from the intricate hackle to the delicate tail and body, are in sharp focus across the various shots. The selection process for the best parts involves a careful review of each captured image. I selected this image for the base image. I then added an image with the hand stabilizing the fly and vise, and then the other hand precisely wrapping the thread on the hook shank. I then added a magnifying glass to his cap, and then a black background with a red glow. I then finished the picture with a shadow layer to direct your eye to the main subject. This picture won the Best Picture of the Year in the New England Camera Club Council. Are you a photography enthusiast in the Leominster, Massachusetts area, looking to hone your skills and connect with like-minded individuals? The New England Shutterbugs Camera Club offers a vibrant community where you can receive valuable training and constructive criticism on your photographs to help you improve your craft. Whether you're a beginner or an experienced photographer, our club provides a supportive environment for learning and growth. To discover our upcoming meetings and gatherings, simply Google New England Shutterbugs and navigate to our calendar. We look forward to welcoming you and helping you elevate your photography.